Hello, welcome to my channel. I am a vegetable gardener in Ohio, Zone 6A. In today's video, I want to talk about what I am growing currently, what I'm going to put in the ground, and a few other things that are going on in the second week of May. Okay, so primarily right now what I'm doing is I am hardening off. And what I'm hardening off are my peppers for the most part. They are probably too big for these pots. They're flowering. Up until recently, I was pinching the flowers off because I wanted them to put their energy into growing their leaves and stems and whatnot. But at this stage, they're about ready to go out. They need bigger containers. So I am just letting them flower. This is my first year growing peppers. I don't really know what I'm doing. So we will see how it goes. But yeah, so they'll be hardening off for a week. So I put them out yesterday for an hour. Today I put them out for 3 hours, both times in complete shade. Tomorrow I'm going to put them out for 2 hours in morning sun and then increase an hour each day. And then by next Monday, I'm just going to start putting them out full time and they hopefully will be okay. I'm going to plant some of them directly in my soil, which is a very clay heavy soil. I'm not expecting them to do well. However, my tomatoes did really well last year. So in that soil, so, you never know. And then I'm going to put some in grow bags and we'll see how that goes. I'm also hardening off my coleus, some lavender and some really young, cucumber seedlings. Usually I wouldn't harden something off when it's essentially just got its cotyledons, but these grow so quickly. They don't love their roots disturbed. So I want to be able to put them in the ground in about 7 or 8 days. That's why I'm already starting them to harden off. That might not be the right thing to do. That's what I'm doing. I will share my results and see if it works out. I've also got some seedlings growing in my garden. I did a little experiment where I put a milk jug over the seeds to sort of warm up the soil and warm up the area to see if they would grow faster. They grew. They're looking good so far. They look similar to this. However, I also just put some seeds directly in the soil with nothing, and they're also growing. So I don't know if that's a method that is something that'll work. Next year I'll do it earlier and see what happens, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyhow, yeah, so I'm hardening these off. They're going to go out in a week, all going well. Something I'm not quite ready to harden off are my tomato plants. I'm sure if you're watching other people's statuses of their gardens right now, their tomatoes are probably look like my pepper plants. I am a firm believer that you shouldn't start your tomatoes too early. I don't see the point, because once they're out there in the warm weather, they will just catch up so quickly. So there's just no point. And it would have been too early to put these out. However, I will say I started these on, I want to say April 6th. I'll double check that. That seems like a long time ago. And this is where I'm at. So something, in my opinion, is wrong. They should be much bigger by now. It could be a couple of things. It could be my house isn't warm enough. But tomatoes generally don't have a problem. Like as long as it's like above 60, which it always is, I don't think it should be a problem for tomato seedlings. The other thing I'm thinking is when I first started them, I started them in a mix of Coco Coir and Jiffy seed starting mix. I used a really high percentage of Coco Coir, like 50%. That may have been too much. Coco Coir can be salty. It might have like stripped the nutrients or did something. I don't know. Since then, I've transplanted them into these with raised bed garden soil. They seem to be improving. They've still got that like very purplish tint to them, which isn't great. But I'm hoping for the best. We'll see. Luckily, I have some volunteer tomatoes that are growing from plants that were in the ground last year. So they should be great. I am transplanting those seedlings over to where I want them in my proper vegetable garden. So these seedlings have already been hardened off. They're used to being outdoors. The seeds themselves survive the winter, so they should be strong plants. Yeah, so I'm very excited to see how they turn out. The only downside with them is I planted a bunch of varieties in that area, so I have no idea what I'm going to get. I'm hoping it'll be Dr. White Cheese Yellow, because that's the sort of general area where they're at. But when I dug them out last year, I was raking, I was moving everything around, so I have no idea. It'll be a happy surprise, and I'm just glad to have potentially viable plants. So that's good. Then, other than that, I am sort of working on planting flowers. I am putting sunflowers everywhere this year. I really like sunflowers, so I'm just growing a bunch. I have this type from Burpee, Chianti. It's a Chianti hybrid. I just think they're absolutely beautiful. I love the darker sunflowers, so I'm gonna plant a bunch of these. And then I had a mix of sunflowers that I've kind of put a bunch of different kinds out there. Now, one thing I did learn from from somebody who commented on one of my videos, sunflowers I believe they're toxic, or they make the soil toxic to the plants around them. So I have interspersed these with some other flowers that I'm growing and some of my veg. So that's a little concerning. I'm going to let them grow to see what happens, because I'm just super curious. But that might be something you want to take into account when you are growing sunflowers. Then I have some other flowers that I'm growing. Firstly, nasturtiums. I have a bunch of these going outside already. They're doing well. I love nasturtiums. They're beautiful. I love how they vine and fill in an area and spill. It's gorgeous. I am growing zinnias. I've never grown zinnias before. These are cut and come again type. So when the flowers starting to die off, you can cut them, more will grow. And I think you can succession sow these. So like, every month put down another few seeds and you should get a continuous blooms. Same thing with cosmos. I'm also growing these. Never grown these either, but they're really, really pretty. And then finally, my favorite is borage. Borage is just amazing. Pollinators love it. It's a huge plant. You can eat the little flowers, which are beautiful blue little stars. You can put them on salads, on drinks. Imagine that on a cocktail. It would be so pretty. I love borage. So I'm putting this everywhere. It is quite big. Just, keep that in mind. Oh, but it also puts nitrogen into your soil. I don't know I think it's the roots themselves, but it could be the stem and everything when it breaks down and goes back into the soil. Either way, it's good for your soil, like peas. So grow borage. Other than that, that is kind of it. What else is going on? In my own life, I have shaved my face, which I highly, highly regret. I wish I hadn't, but that's just what happens, I think, to a guy about every year. You get this urge. You go through like a Britney moment and you're just... That's what I did. Yeah, it'll grow back, is what I keep telling myself. I am also working on losing weight, which will help with this double chin. I'm down 30 pounds. And did I already mention this? I think I mentioned this in the video already. I did mention this, didn't I? I need to go check. Okay, no, I didn't. That wasn't the first time I tried filming this video, but just, kept messing up, so I had to restart. But yeah, I'm working on losing weight. I think being in the garden is really, really helpful with that. You feel sort of connected to the food chain, the cycle of life, kind of just nature. You see where your food's coming from. You're aware of what it takes to grow it, how long everything takes, the sort of, you're just more aware, basically. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Plus I'm eating mainly from my garden. I eat a ton of kale, which I grew so much kale this year. So much. Which leads me to something else that I want to say. If you are growing asparagus, please, for the love of God, grow buy at least 10 crowns, because most people start from crowns, per person in your family who's going to be eating the asparagus. I think I grew like 6. It is nowhere near enough. And you have to wait roughly around 3 years before you can start harvesting from it. So even if I put in more asparagus now somewhere else, we'll have to wait 3 years for it. So start with, a good, healthy amount of asparagus because you'll just be so disappointed. And it's so good. It's so, so delicious when you grow it yourself. You can just like break a stalk off and eat it in the garden. Delicious. But yeah, so grow a ton of asparagus. And other than that, that is that for this. That is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, and I'll see you next time. Peace.